and not being
Hey, what's up, guys? We'll get started in a minute. Just a second. All right. See how many people we have. I'll just wait for one or two more people to join before I start recording. But we don't trade the first 10 minutes of New York Open, so we'll just let it stabilize for now. All right. I'll go ahead and start recording. All right, good morning, guys. Today is June 20th, and as usual, we'll be going over analysis for US 30, gold, and EU. So for those of you guys who have access to the signals, so the signals were based off of data from capital.com, one of the providers here on TradingView, but last week I think they stopped supporting a bunch of instruments, so I need to redo signals for US 30, EU, NAS, no, US 30 gold, and I believe NAS, but I'll do that later. So personally, for me, I'm already up 1% for the day. I have this GJ trade that's running. So I did mention this last week. So the trade I sent, and hopefully I am not muted. So I did send this trade. So last week, we took a loss on GJ, right? So this trade, and this was on the 5-minute time frame, the loss that we took. So I'll just reset this and do this. Perfect. So this is the sell that I sent last week with a 1% risk, and it went and hit stop loss. Now, our stop loss on GJ was 200 pips. That is a lot. That is a wide stop loss and wide TP. But for GJ, the stop loss that I normally use is wider than pairs that move like EU. So what I did mention, and this is the reversal strategy. So you can see this here is the reversal indicator. So the reversal indicator, you always identify your area of interest. So your area of interest was the last time price was consolidating before the trend. And then with GJ, a trend to me with GJ is consistently above the 9 EMA for about 100 pips. So that's why here we entered this sell on GJ with a 200 pip stop loss, 200 pip TP. The trade did go into profit a little bit, but went ahead and reversed. And I remember here last week we had heavy news for GJ. So that's what prompted price to go up. Now, using the reversal strategy, if you do get stopped out, so for me, I always start on the 5 minute. You don't have to start on the 5 minute, but for me, I always start on the 5 minute. So if you get stopped out on the 5 minute or whatever time frame you're trading, move to the next higher time frame. So last week I did say, instead of forming, and this is the importance of having a stop loss, right? Because without a stop loss here, and for me, this trade was for 1% risk. So I just took my 1% loss right there and then moved to the 15-minute time frame. So 15-minute time frame, I waited for a sell signal on the 15-minute time frame. And then I got this sell signal. I think it came either Sunday night or yesterday, but for me, I entered this trade somewhere here. So I'm not going to be, I don't send all of the trades I take to the Discord. So sometimes, right, you just have to follow the strategies because I'm not always going to send every trade. So the sell on the 15-minute time frame came in here. And actually for this trade, I'm in with a 2% risk because I want to get back the loss that I took right here, the 1%, and also make the 1% that I was aiming to pick up here. So right now, this trade is still running for me. And I did mention, I normally just wait for TP to hit or stop loss to hit. So for me, I'm still in this trade based on these parameters, and it's about to hit TP. I think I'm like 5 pips or whatever away from TP. So that's how you use the reversal strategy. Get stopped out of the 5-minute time frame, move to the higher time frame. So for example, if this trade I got stopped out of the 15-minute time frame as well, guess what? I would have just gone to the 30-minute time frame. The other trade I had is gold. So this gold trade right here. So gold, and this is the crosses indicator. So this is the indicator that I talked about, has like a 90 to 98% win rate. And the way you trade the crosses indicator, you trade the golden cross, which is when the fast moving EMA crosses a slower moving EMA to the upside. So in our case, our fast moving EMA is the 9 EMA. On my chart, it's the blue one. The slow moving EMA is the 200 EMA, which is this one right here, whatever orange color. So a golden cross would be right like this first one right here. And the death cross is the opposite. Death cross is when now the 9 EMA would cross the 200 EMA to the downside. Now, the golden cross and death crosses have different colors. So you see like this buy has like a baby blue color, and you can change that in the inputs, in the settings of the indicator if you want yours to be a different color. But by default, the golden cross is different from this other buy. So these other buys, that's why I call them secondary crosses. It just gives you another entry to use. Same thing with the sell. Now, with this strategy, you want to trade the first 3 to 4 trades, including the original cross. So for example, for this buy right here, you would have taken 1, 2, 3. There was another use on the 15-minute time frame. I know I was missing something. It's better to also use it on the 15-minute time frame if you can. So use 1, the first buy, second buy, third buy, fourth buy, and this ones would have hit TP, because for me, for this ones, I go for 100 pips TP, 100 pips stop loss. So 1955 to 65, that would have hit TP. This one would have been 1957, 58-ish. So 68, this one would have barely hit TP. So this one might have come back and hit stop loss as well, or this one, but you would have been so far up in profit. But for me, for this ones, I just let whatever happens happen. Now, when you're trading across, so if there was a golden cross, now here you're expecting a death cross. And that's why don't take this, like this buys right here would have been invalid, because now the 9 EMA is coming back down and towards the 200 EMA. And knowing that, what you expect is a death cross. So at this point, what I came and did, instead of getting confused by the buys, I came up here and turned off the buys because I wasn't interested in the buys. And at that point, I'm only left with the sells. Again, same thing for sells. The first 4, so 1, 2, 3, 4. That's it. So right now, what we would want to trade for gold is golden is buys. And at that point, we just need to wait for a golden cross to happen. So you can keep taking sells. Last week, I think we had on US 30, we had like 24 buys that all of them, 24 trades, 22 of which were buys. Two that were sells. No, one that was 23 were buys, one that was a sell. The sell would have hit stop loss and one buy would have hit stop loss, but all the other 22 buys back to back to back to back would have hit TP. So that's how I was able to make this trade on gold. The other thing, right, I sent this chart on gold. I saw this, so this was yesterday, and I sent this in the group chat right here. So I saw head and shoulders in head and shoulders on the hourly time frame. So this is what I saw. So when I was trading gold yesterday, I saw left shoulder, head, right shoulder. So at that point, I then started looking for entries because this is on the hourly time frame. I don't trade the hourly time frames. So that's why I came to all these indicators we have. I came to the crosses indicator, and the crosses indicator is the one that was giving me sales. So at that point, I just look for an entry on it. We also have the breakout indicator. I'm pretty sure there's a breakout on gold. There you go. Another one. So there's just too many strategies right here that you can easily use to pass your challenge. So the most profitable ones and the ones that I normally ask you guys to focus on the breakout scanner. I only trade US 30, gold, and NASDAQ using the breakout scanner, and maybe EU. I don't like trading minor pairs with the breakout scanner. So focus on the breakout scanner and focus on the crosses indicator. US 30, I'm pretty sure US 30 is dropping. So I'm still expecting US 30 to drop as well, because I was seeing sells on US 30 using the crosses indicator as well. There you go. So same thing, right? The first four, 1, 2, 3, 4, full TP on all of them. So for this one's how I would use them to pass a challenge. I can comfortably, just like literally with this indicator, I can comfortably, and using other confluences, I can comfortably go for 1% for each of the crosses entries. Because right here, if you did that on US 30, you would have been up your 4%, and you would have been up your 4% on gold as well. Or if you just want to take it slow, you can go for 0.5% risk for this one. So like if you took 1% each on gold and for US 30, you'd have been done with phase 1 of your challenge. But if you're still not too sure, at the very least, go for 0.5% using each of the entries. Does anybody have any questions regarding anything I demoed currently? All right. So gold right here, I do expect gold to come and complete, and there you go. It's almost completing the structure. Now, it doesn't have to complete this structure to the pip. Now, the area I'm looking at on gold, what do we have here? We have a 4-hour. Here's another entry on gold as well. We haven't traded these entries in a minute. You see this 4-hour bearish low, and this is with the markups indicator. So that's, right. We have a bunch of instruments you can use for confluences. So here, what do you see? We have a hourly bearish high, hourly bullish high. So by default, those two cancel out. 30 minutes, I really don't trade 30 minutes, and 15 minutes order blocks. So at that point, you can even come and turn them off right here if you really want to. Now, what I'm looking at here at that drop is this 4-hour bearish low. So I'll just mark up this 4-hour bearish low. So to me, when I see this 4-hour bearish low, it literally overrides everything else that I'm seeing on the chart, just indirectly. So when I looked at this, it overrides the 30-minute bullish high, overrides all of these other things, because the 4-hour is the highest time frame order block we have right here. So at that point, what would you be expecting if you want to trade this? You would want a break and closure below the 4-hour bearish low, and then a retest and closure below. So this was another sell on gold that you could have easily taken right there. So depending on what your risk to reward is, there's another easy sell on gold, and it would have gone straight to TP. If you want more confluence, we have the zones. So the zones, let me turn that off. The zones shows you where a bunch of sellers are sitting. So if you had the zones indicator, you could have easily seen that we had a lot of sell side on gold on the upside. So this is why I wasn't interested in looking for any buys on gold, because all I could see, we have a bunch of sellers sitting up here. So that coupled with all these markups, the markups indicator showing me we had a 4-hour order block right there. Also, the crosses indicator just showing me we have sells. So at that point, I just comfortably entered. Yeah, so that's how, like, today I'll be up like 3% for the day just by taking 2 trades, and that's on a 200K account. And actually I could have easily done the same what is it called, the same lot size on a 100K account and been up like whatever amount. But anyway, so for gold, what I'm watching, if gold does come back up, is this 4-hour bullish high and 4-hour bullish low. So we have a 4-hour bullish high at 1942 and a 4-hour bullish low at 1940. And also, what do I automatically see on gold? This is a trend on the 5-minute. So in order for me, if I'm expecting gold to shoot up, if it does come back up to the 4-hour bullish high, and I can see reversal loading, guess what? I'll just come to my reversal. And this is what I mentioned, like, trading nowadays is so easy and stress-free just by using all of this. So I'll come in here. I have the reversal indicator right here. So I'll change this to gold. And then it's just going to be a waiting game for me. So I'll come there, reversal gold, and then I'm not interested in sells. This was another reversal as well on gold, possible reversal right here. But anyway, so I'm not interested in sells. I'll turn off the sells so that they don't mess with my mentality or psychology. 50 here for gold, so that's just default, and that's on the, this should be on the 5-minute. The trend is on the 5-minute. So then what I would come and do here, I would come and set my area of interest right here for gold, horizontal ray. So my area of interest is around, I like even numbers or whole numbers, so maybe 1955 area. So this is my area of interest for gold. And then my second part, so remember there's two, when you're using the reversal indicator, you also need some manual intervention to avoid fake outs. So this is the manual intervention I'm talking about. So from here, I need gold to trend for at least 150 pips before I try to enter any buy. So what's 150 pips less 1955? So that's a $15 move. That's 19 what? I'd be terrible at math. 1940. So that's 1940 right there. So gold has reached the threshold. So what this tells you is that you're not interested in any buy signals that you will get from the reversal indicator within this threshold. So right now, if we do get a buy on gold, I will take that buy on gold. Also, my other confluence is we have a 4-hour bullish high and low here. We also, if I turn on the zones indicator, let me turn off the markups just so that the chart can be a little bit cleaner. You can see gold is in a demand zone. It's actually in a demand zone within a demand zone, but I'm not going to front run it. I'm going to wait for that confluence, and then I'll enter the reversal for gold. 100 pips TP, 100 pips stop loss. And I did mention right now I'm transitioning to be more of an intraday trader, so holding trades for a couple of hours as opposed to scalping. It's definitely, to me, it's better for my health. There are people who, I'm good at scalping, but I just want a little bit more less time on the charts and set and forget. So this is what I'm waiting for gold. US 30, let's see what we have on US 30. So US 30, looking on the hourly time frame, we have structure, right? So structure needs to be, or more than likely will be completed. Let me go ahead and if anybody has a question, just go ahead and ask. I did mention that our live sessions nowadays might be shorter because I've changed the way I'm taking entries, and we might not always get like an entry during the live session. So that's what I'm expecting for US 30, maybe around 33,850. We also have a death cross on the hourly forming on US 30. But right now, I'm not really seeing any trade to take for US30. You can see US30 is coming off of, actually, wait a minute. We have an hourly bearish high, hourly bearish low. We also have a 4-hour bearish high, 4-hour bearish low. And actually, there was a trade right here for US30, but give me 1 second. Let's see what we are. So US30 is coming from a supply zone. Let me turn off. Okay, so see this 4-hour bearish low. So same thing we talked about gold. You want a closure below the 4-hour bearish low, and then you want retest and closure below. So this is actually the sell on US30 right now. Give me 1 second. Don't take it yet. I just wanna. So normally nowadays I used to do 100 pip TP, 100 pip stop loss. Well, 50. 104. We have stop loss above there. Just 1 second. Yeah, so I will take this trade with 0.5% risk. I'm already up like 4% for the day, so I will take this trade and it will count as a live trade. So 0.5, what's that with the 200K? It's 1,000. Okay, 100 pips. There it goes. I'm still not filled in yet, so hopefully it doesn't dip without me. Okay, sell. Okay, perfect. So I'm in that sell for US30. Ideally, I'm trading this 4-hour bearish low light right here. Also, right, looking at the zones, we are coming into a demand zone, but this looks like a weak demand zone. We also have this structure that we expect to be completed to the downside. We also have a death cross forming on the hourly time frame. So right now we have all this 4-hour and hourly order blocks, and we also have sellers sitting here. So remember how I use the zones indicator. I need to see order blocks around the zones indicator. Just knowing that there are sellers sitting up here, I wouldn't have taken that trade. So what made me take that trade? We have sellers sitting up here, and then we have a 4-hour bearish low and 1 hour, and there goes US30. So at this time, right, when you're using all these strategies, you just have to be quick with them and just analyze them real quick. So that's a trade. Gold, I'm waiting for that reversal. EU, I still see structure to be completed to the downside right here, but I'm not seeing any. So you can see EU here came from a 4-hour bearish low right here. So EU might also be coming down. But I'm fine just sticking with this US30 trade for now, and the other trades I'm in. Any questions from anyone? All right. See what else we have. So let me edit this. So for those of you who are new, so these are just my trade requirements. And I did do a video on this. So it's just 5 basic things that I use to identify or to get into a trade. So the first one is have identify if the trade is valid or not. So of course, I've gone over the strategies, some of the strategies we have. So that's how I define whether a trade is valid. So for me to enter a trade, it either has to be like, for example, this one right here, the one we just entered for US 30, it's based off of this sell area. So 4-hour bearish zone. And also we have sellers right here. If you turn on the zones indicator, also for the other one on the hourly time frame, I did talk about US 30 completing structure to the downside. We also have that death cross loading on the hourly time frame for US 30. So the other strategy, for example, would be the breakout, the crosses strategy, which I went over right here, and all of these cells would have hit full TP. The other strategy is the breakout strategy. I did go over this particular breakout sell on gold again would have hit full TP with ideally no drawdown. So that's another strategy we have. And the other strategy is what I just marked up on gold. This is the reversal strategy. So that satisfies, right? So that's number one, identifying if the trade is valid or not. And just using those 3 or 4 strategies we have, that will help you define. So if a trade does not fit any of those strategies, I will not take that trade because that helps you fight FOMO and FOGI and all of that. So risk per trade, for example, for this trade, I did tell you guys to, or I did say I was taking it with a 0.5% risk. More recently, I've started taking trades with a 1% risk. So nowadays, if a trade has like a 90% probability of hitting, which for me, the ones I'll do that mostly is the crosses indicator, because this has like a 90 to 98% win rate. So trades that have a 90% probability, I will take them with a 1% risk. Trades that have like a 60 to, or let me say 70 to 80% probability, I will take them with a 0.5% risk. Or also if I'm heavily up for the day, like right now, I'm already up 1% with gold. I'm about to be up another 1% with GJ. So I'm already up for the day. Actually, even with another trade, maybe 3%. So I really don't want to risk too much right now. So identifying risk per trade, identifying risk to reward ratio. So for me, just by default, I use a 1:1. I can use a 1:2 if I wanted to, but I just like giving my trades a little bit room to breathe. And then having a set TP and stop loss. So for all my trades, I never trade without a TP and without a stop loss. That is just something that if I do anything else, like my trades will always have a TP and stop loss. And if you're a beginner trader, if you guys are just joining, you please always make sure it definitely doesn't feel good losing money, but it's part of the game. And if you have that discipline as a beginner trader, trust me, you will do better than 90% of the traders, and your learning curve will be shorter than most. And if 1 through 4 align, right, just go ahead and take the trade. So long as all of this align, you're never going to win every time, but most of the time you will come out on top so long as you let this sit. Also, if you have a set TP and stop loss, whether your risk to reward is 1:5 or 1:10, 1:1, let your TP and stop loss hit. And at the very least, at 1:1, go ahead and set break even if you want to keep riding a trade. But like you see, like for me, how I have a 1:1 trade, like right now, if I set break even, or if I go ahead and close out the trade at 50% in profit, and then for the next trade, God forbid, I lose that trade, technically, even though I have a 1:1 risk to reward, I'm messing with the risk to reward by closing winners early. And more times than not, if you find somebody who's closing winners early, they're probably holding on to losses even longer. So you can have the best risk to reward in the world, but if you don't let it hit, or have at the very least a 1:1 where you start scaling in or scaling out or trailing your TP, you will always end up with a negative risk to reward ratio, which is what you don't want to do in trading. There are people who are good at it, but if you're a beginner, do not have a negative risk to reward ratio for your trades. And yeah, I think that's pretty much it. So let me know if you guys have any questions. If not, we'll just wait for this US 30 trade to hopefully hit TP. It should. And yeah, we'll probably wait and see what else we can find. The other thing, I'll be out on vacation next week. So next week, the whole of next week, we won't have, actually probably till like July 4th. So we won't have live sessions on there during those days. Yes. What's the other? There's one more thing I wanted to go over. For those of you who do stock trading and options, I always forget to mention this. So all these indicators we have, you can use them even to trade stocks. So for example, here, if I go, and this is just the crosses indicator. So if I look up Apple, and there goes US 30 dipping. If I look up Apple right here, and I think I'd turned off the buys. So if I look at Apple right here, I can easily also trade, and you can even trade, I believe with challenges, even FTMO, you can trade stocks um, with it. So you can see you could easily use any of this indicator to trade other instruments as well. So Google, what is it called nowadays? Alphabet or something? There you go. And with this crosses indicator, so I did mention play around with these filters right here. So if you don't want signals or entries where price is squeezing, go ahead and turn on the squeeze filter, and that will just give you fewer trades and trades that where price is not consolidating. Yeah, so you can literally use this to trade anything. And I'm guessing US 30 is also, if we go to the breakout scanner, US 30 should be breaking out to the downside. This is gold. Yeah, there's the sell for US 30. So nowadays, to be honest with you guys, nowadays all I do is use my indicators for entries. And I did mention that the indicators are based off of myself. So if I was an AI, so that's why nowadays I don't struggle too much. Like I'm like, I invested all this money to have this instruments created. Like, why not just use them? And it's so much easier, and just take, so long as you have like this, you have this 5 requirements, right? Just using them makes trading so much easier. And just to clarify, I do not offer any copy trading or challenge passing services. I started this group mostly to teach, and I've given you guys access to all of this. So I've just been demoing this for you guys, like how you can easily pass the challenge just by trusting them and just taking the trades with proper risk management. So um, like even if I was to try and pass somebody's challenge, like literally all I would do would be use this indicator and come and enter sales. Like this morning, if I was doing any challenge, I would just have come and entered the first 4 sales right here, and I would have easily made a quick 4%. So yeah, so mostly what you folks need to work on is trading psychology, and then just learn the strategies. It doesn't have to be my strategies, but find somebody, whether it's somebody else's, whether it's another mentor's strategy, whether it's your strategy, and just trust it, because we have a bunch of different ways of how people trade. So you just need to find that one strategy, and don't stay out too long. Like don't have analysis paralysis just by being fearful. So you just need to do it, and then you should eventually go ahead and be able to successfully pass a challenge. Let's see if this trade is gonna hit. We didn't take a trade on Friday, right? I don't think we did. 16th, no. This day we ended up at break even. Your GBP. Yeah, so Thursday was break even. Friday, no trades. All right. So right now looking at US 30, so here's another thing, and sometimes I always forget to look at this. So when entering a trade on whatever instrument, and you're using the 9 EMA and the 200 EMA as we're using them, be on the lookout on where the 9 EMA and 200 EMAs are. So you can see where price is rejecting from on the hourly, that is. Be on the lookout on the hourly time frame where the 9 EMA and 200 EMAs are relative to where your TP is. So more times than not, you always get a rejection off of the 9 EMA or the 200 EMA on the hourly if price is around them. So for example, you see how here on the 5-minute, our stop loss is 34,005, which is below the 200 EMA on the hourly. So actually here, in any case, what I should have done is did a 50 pip stop loss. I'm sorry, 50 pip take profit instead of 100. I always forget to check on that sometimes. But when you're entering, because like for me, I trade on the 5-minute. So always make sure that your TP and stop loss are not above or below the 9 or 200 DMA, depending on whichever direction your trade is going. So actually for here, our TP could have been 500, which would have been somewhere, that's the stop loss. TP and stop loss could have been 500, which would have been 34,052, which would have been around where the 200 EMA is on the hourly. So just something to be on the lookout for going forward. But I'll just leave it as the way it was. We just need to break this demand area. The only good thing I like about it, as much as we're in a demand area, meaning that we have buyers here, buyers don't have any order block based off of my markups to bring price to the upside. Now, right, price doesn't always have to react to order blocks to move from one area to another, right? There's a bunch of different factors, news and other things. So but for me, I'm still gonna hold this buy. I'm sorry, this sell the way it is. No questions from anyone? I'm guessing you guys are okay then for this week. So for gold right here, what I would want to see for that entry, and I hope our US 30 hits TP before this reversal starts coming in. But you can see gold is almost completing that structure. So for gold, what I want to see is this. So this is a demand area. Looking at where price is at, probably something of this sort. It might come down to this 1923 area, but when we do get that reversal on gold, I will enter. So I'm guessing it will go down a little bit and then come back up, give us the reversal entry based off of the reversal indicator. And then when gold comes around 1942-40 area, but by this time, for me personally, I will already be in a reversal. But if we do come here and break, close above and retest, gold should shoot up, and maybe this is the last time gold will be somewhere in this area before we start taking off the highs. But we do have this 4-hour bearish low and bearish high here. However, this bearish zones have already been used up because that's what's bringing gold to the downside. So if we do come to this 4-hour bullish high and low, I do expect continuation for gold. So that's the pattern I'm expecting for gold. We're almost at full TP for US 30. Just a few more. And look at that price action around the 200 DMA on the hourly, right? You get that quick rejection. Let me turn off this. So if you can learn to just trade with the hourly, the reason I leave even though I don't trade the 15-minute and the 30-minute by themselves, the order blocks, those order blocks by themselves, I like seeing them on the chart because sometimes you'll have like an hourly bearish high and then a 30-minute bearish high and then a 15-minute bearish high. So that just builds a bunch of confluence, if that makes sense. But if you want, right, you can just leave the hourly going up. So you can leave the hourly, 4-hour, daily, weekly, and monthly bullish and bearish order blocks if you don't want to see these others. But the reason I leave the 15-minute and 30, as much as I don't trade them by themselves, but if they are next to like a 4-hour and 1-hour, for me, that gives me like additional confluences for a trade in that direction. But I know some of you don't like cluttered charts. For me, I'm able to zone out all of this order blocks that are not relevant to where price is headed for me. I'm able to just mentally not even see them. But for you guys who may not like your charts too cluttered, you can go into the settings and turn off what you don't want to see. You can turn off any monthly or weekly or previous daily zones you don't want to see, and then you just remain with whatever you think is relevant for your own trading. So yeah, once this trade hits TP, that will be it for today's live session. Unless anybody has any questions, I did mention that going forward, right, the live sessions will be more educational because a bunch of trades that I even get and send out in the Discord are normally even before or after the live session. So no need to just stay on the live session just to keep talking and talking, especially if nobody has any questions or needs help. And then price is also coming to us to a key psychological level, right? 34,000 area. right here, 34,000 area.
Okay, so oh man, hold on. All right, so you do your trend lines on the hourly, right?
Yes, yeah. The reason you guys cannot see the ones we did last week, and there goes US 30 full TP. It's because I was using capital.com and no currency.com, and they went out of, or they stopped supporting products. Previously I used to do them on the five. If you remember when we first started streaming, I used to do them on the 5 minute, but nowadays I do them on the hourly.
Okay, all right, because I'm starting to move from trend lines on MT4 and into TradingView since all of the indicators are there.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's what I was asking.
Yeah, on the hourly. Like even for me, I stopped, like how I used to draw the trend lines. You guys remember how I used to draw trend lines on the MT4 on the 5 minute. Yeah, but nowadays I just do them on the hourly. So much easier, especially if you're just trying to take fewer and fewer trades. Yeah. Because that's what we've been doing the last 2 or so weeks. Yeah, but this is, I know this one we traded a lot last week, this hourly trend line to the upside for US 30. For gold, we traded, what did we trade? There was one trend line, this one right here. When we did that buy on gold, that huge buy that we did on gold last week, that was a nice one. Trend line, it was this trend line right here. This is the buy we caught on on gold last week. And there goes US 30 full TP. So that's a gain of 0.5%. If I wasn't already up for the day, I would have gone with 1%, but I'm already up like quite a lot. So, but this just shows you, right? So this month alone, we are up 3.5% in just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 trading days. Because 2 days we hit break even. The previous month, right, we traded almost every day, but this one we were using like 0.5, 0.25s. But when I came back from that vacation I went on, I'm like, we need, our strategies are hitting, so why do we have to keep going, with small increments? So just by 7 trading days, right, we would have been up like so if you just took every trade I took on the live session or took the trades I sent on the Discord, you would have been up 3.5% for the day. I'm sorry, on your challenge. And actually, right, even for me there, like for example, GJ, I did not send this trade in the Discord, but I talked about it. It wasn't an official trade that I sent on the Discord. So keep in mind, sometimes I'll send official trades in the Discord. Sometimes I'll just take some of the trades on my own. But this GJ trade on the reversal, I don't know where that went. The reversal that I took on GJ, I didn't send it in the Discord, but I'm already up like 3% for it. But I did mention that I was looking for a reversal on GJ last week on the 15-minute time frame. So even just using our strategies outside of the trades I send in the Discord, like for me this month alone, I think I'm already up like 10%. And I'm using literally 1:1 risk to reward, risking 1% per trade. For GJ, I did risk 2%, as I mentioned, because I wanted to get back the loss that we took. Yeah, but you can
How do you
trading
feel about the EU sell? I'm in the EU sell right now.
based
Actually
off
entered
of
last night, but
what
based off
I mean, I do see a sell on EU, but based off of what strategy?
out last night, and I think I entered too early,
Mhm.
but because then the sell signal disappeared. But I looked at the charts, and it was kind of it's been trending up for a while,
Mhm.
and I've seen a couple bearish zones in the area, so I just stayed with it.
Okay, so you just traded based off of order blocks. Is that what you mean?
Yeah.
So EU right here, and you say last night. So this is a 5 minutes. So I'm guessing last night might be somewhere around here. So yeah, we have so just by looking at it, the 4-hour bearish zone overrides every other zone I'm looking at. So I'm not even seeing the 30-minute bullish. I'm not seeing the 15-minute. So just by that, and then I turn on the zones. So EU. So based on it, last night, so I'm guessing you entered, I don't know at what point you entered. Yeah, but so if you look at up here, we have just sellers sitting here, and the 4-hour bearish zone is the overrides everything else. So yeah, I do see a sell on EU. Yeah, the best one to take was around the 4-hour bearish low zone. Yeah, but I do see sells. Even if you look at structure, right? Same thing with gold, right? Structure right here.
Yeah, that's what I meant to say. Based on structure, I figured it'd come back down, but I also 101.091 is what I entered, and I regretted it immediately because I seen the 4-hour above it, and I said, "Damn, I should have just waited," but it was too late already.
Yeah, but if you see here, like if I was trading that EU structure, personally, what I would have done, right? So same thing. So like here's one entry I would have entered here. And normally for this one, I go for, so nowadays I'm going for double what I used to go for. So for EU, I used to go for 20 pips TP, 20 pips stop loss. Nowadays I go for 40. So this is the first entry for, or this is one of the entries I see on EU that I could have entered. And I'm entering based off of what? Based off of an hourly candle closing below the 9 EMA, and then this next candle didn't quite retest the 9 EMA, but also right still close below. But this is one trade I could have entered on EU, 40 pips TP, 40 pips stop loss. If I really wanted to be safe, guess what? I could have used my stop above that previous high. But 40 would have been sufficient. Unfortunately, right, for this trade, it would have gone 50% in drawdown. But this is why you need to backtest and then have like a comfortable TP and stop loss that you can afford to go ahead and do your daily activities without even worrying, right? If you're still not there's like, but this is the first trade. The next trade I could have taken on EU, and I don't know if the bearish order blocks were there at that point. So that's the first one. The next one, maybe I could have waited again for another hourly to scale in, possibly. So I could have waited for another hourly to close below the 9 EMA, and then the next one to retest and close below the 9 EMA. So at that point, so this one closed below, but the next one closed above. So this is the next EU entry right here. Now this is a perfect break and retest, because if you look at this particular one, this hourly candle closed below. I think this one right here closed just around it, so I'm not going to count that. So this one closed clearly below the 9 EMA on the hourly. This next hourly one, guess what? Retested the 9 EMA and closed below. So this was another perfect entry for EU. Would have come pretty close to profit. So this is where you get tested as a trader, right? But for me, I would have held on to this trade. It would have come like 90% or 80% in profit. I still would have held through all of this, and you see it's coming back. But yeah, I do see a sell for EU. Sell for EU, sell for gold. Now this gold, the only tricky thing for gold for now, I would see is we have this static trend line. So what we know about a static trend line, more times than not, it will get retested. Now, this trend line, we've already made profit from it. So we know that this trend line holds because we did make a profit with it right here. Now, if gold breaks this structure right here, and I'm hoping we don't get that reversal soon. If gold breaks 1925 area, we are coming to test this trend line. So we are coming to maybe 1900 area, 1905. So look up 1925, just mark up 1925 and see what gold will do. Because if we do get a closure below there, gold is coming to the 1900 zone. So 1905, 1910 area. So just keep in mind for that. But for me, if I get a reversal entry on gold, I'll just take it, because gold has trended far down for now. But anyway, so a nice 0.5% return for the day. So hopefully you guys caught that, or at least learned something with that. So just revising this trade, the reason why didn't I really go with the 1%? So first of all, the 1% trades, I normally save for the crosses indicator, mostly for the crosses and the breakout entries. Now, the crosses entries, I did mention that I take the first 4. So, right, we already passed the first 4. So we had like, so here I wasn't interested in buys. So I would have taken this buys off. So just counting the cells, how many cells do we have? 1, and this is US30. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, all of which would have hit full TP. But I don't like pushing it, so I just go for the first 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. At that point, they had already hit full TP, or were going to hit full TP. So I really didn't want to risk going in with a 1% down there. The other reason why I didn't use a 1%, again, I'm already 1% up with gold this morning. GJ, I'm up about, I don't know, maybe 1.5%. Also, we already had a sell breakout on US30 by the time we were entering our sell entry right here. And that sell breakout on US30 was already like halfway in profit. So I really didn't want to, again, go for 1%. So that's my thought process of how do I use 1% versus 0.5%. So if I question, not really question, so if a trade is valid, but I'm seeing 1 or 2, like, I really don't want to call them red flags, but let me call them orange flags that, hey, you need to be careful about this. At that point, I'll use 0.5. But if we saw this trade before it happened, like if we just saw this sell candle, I would have told you guys, hey, let's sell US30 with a 1% risk. And we would have, gone for that. But I saw the 1% after the fact. So that's why. Any last questions from anyone? Unmute, sorry. Perfect. Okay, I will see you guys tomorrow's when, no, Wednesday. I got something to do tomorrow, unfortunately. So I will see you guys Thursday and Friday. So yeah, just trade safe. The only trade, if I do get the gold buy, I will send it in the group. If I do not, then of course I'm not going to send it, but I do see us getting the gold by reversal. Yeah, so this is the trade I'm waiting for on gold. So if I do get it, and I'm waiting for it on the 5-minute time frame, not the 15-minute.
I'm thinking maybe Asia for that, but we'll see.
Yeah, that's actually another thing I've noticed. Most of my trades I'm entering like 11 p.m. Some of them I'm entering 4 a.m. Because I normally wake up to go to the gym around then. So 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time or 4 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So that's why by New York, I'm already up like 2 or 3%. So some of these trades, and again, I probably should put that in the requirements. Don't really look to enter trades between 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time and 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So don't really look to enter, because even at that point, even if you look at the strategies, we have the breakout, the crosses indicator, by then you'll see a bunch of fake outs, buys, sells, buy 15 minutes from now. After 15 minutes, you get another sell, and then you just end up getting confused or locked into entries. So don't really look to trade if you're using my strategies. Now, if you have other strategies that work around that time, use them. But for my own strategies, don't look to trade between 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time and 9 or 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. At the very least, sometimes you'll get an entry at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time or 4 p.m. or 2:30. Now, like for example, today we do get this reversal on gold at 2 p.m. or 3 p.m. There's 2 ways to do it. So you can either go ahead and enter it, but know that the probability for there being a fake out is high. Or if you're going to enter like this trade, I'll send with a 1% risk more than likely. So instead of using 1%, guess what? Use a 0.5% risk and then wait for mid-Asia. So wait for like 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And more than likely, they'll manipulate price again to the downside and then start reversing price back up. So you can look for another quicker entry or scale into your position with the remaining 0.5. Or the other one you can do, which is one of my new favorites, just go ahead and double that TP and stop loss. So instead of having 100 pips TP and stop loss, go ahead and have a 200 pip TP and stop loss. It is a large stop loss and TP, but for gold, that's a $20 move. So for comparison, this right here, gold has trended down for like a $20 move. So you can easily, if you get that trade at 2 p.m. or 3 p.m. and you don't have time to look for the trade later on in the night, go ahead and use a 200 pip TP and stop loss. You should be safe enough, hopefully. But so that's two ways to go about trading between those two, that gap or whatever, that range of time, if you still do want to trade. All right, any other questions from anybody? All right, perfect. And we did hit 100 people in the Discord just the other day. So what I'll do next month I'll run another promo for everybody. I don't know, maybe I'll bring back the $50 promo for everything. But I'll run another promo for probably everything: indicators, signals, and charts. I know I ran it for $50. I don't know. I'll see what I want to do. But just to thank you guys for 100 members in the Discord, I will run another promo for next month. I wanted to run it now, but just to be fair to the people who've already subscribed, I'll run it next month. All right. Any last questions from anyone? All right, perfect. I will see you guys on Thursday and Friday. So no live session tomorrow. All right, bye guys.